Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Legends LG-60 Overlord. Jet and tank combined to robot, as you can see there. Now, we did get a version of this in the Titans Return toy line, but obviously Legends put their own spin on it. And it's going to be more accurate because Overlord is primarily a Japanese character. He was kind of the Decepticon commander from the Japanese series Super God Master Force, which took place after the original G1 cartoon, after G1 ended in America, and we kind of just moved on to other things. They kept going. They had a Headmaster series, which was followed by Master Force, and then Victory, and then kind of Beast Wars came into play, and both countries kind of had Beast Wars going on. But there was more fiction in Japan than we got over here in America. I believe Shout Factory has subbed those. I think it was Shout Factory. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's a great series. If you have an opportunity to watch it, I highly recommend. It's one of my all-time favorite pieces of Transformers fiction. But yeah, so Overlord was the Decepticon commander in that series, and you'll notice the Japanese release here comes with two Headmasters, Giga and Mega, because in Japan, he was actually two Power Masters that transformed together. It was a tank and a jet, and each one had its own Power Master partner, and then you would plug the Power Master into each, and then they would transform together to become one large robot. So you can see here he's got the two Power Masters in his chest, because that's where you would store them in the original toy. These guys are two different Headmasters, though. So this is the front of the packaging. Obviously, you can see the jet and the tank. Coming around to this side, you can see the toy itself. Now, the toy is not going to be hugely different from the one we got over here in the Titans Return toy line. Just has a little bit of flourishes that we did not get. Not really anything going on the bottom there. So if we come around to the back of the packaging, you can see Overlord. Now, they try to play it off like he's got two different forms depending on which head you use. All they do is cover these two panels on the chest. It's not really any different besides that. It looks like they also took off the little part of the jet that he uses as a shield. So again, I don't really know how that makes it a different form, but they wanted to make it a little different. Because you can see the Giga head is a little bit more masculine, the Mega is a little bit more feminine because Mega was a woman. Obviously, they were kind of like the king and queen of the Decepticons in Master Force, which was pretty cool. And then it has a Fortress mode. The original Overlord toy did have a base mode. It was a lot kind of more intricate than this, but, you know, they did what they could. But I'm really excited. Like I said, I love the color scheme for this. It's very G1 accurate, and I love the fact that it has the Giga and Mega Headmasters. That was a big deal for me. That's kind of why I went with the Japanese version instead of the American version. I mean, the Master Force characters are my favorite, so I had to go with this super faithful Master Force version of Overlord. So without further ado, let's get him out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the two halves of Overlord out of the packaging. First up, we'll take a look at the two little Headmasters. So here is Giga. Really nicely painted. You can see he has the kind of seafoam green and then the navy blue color scheme working. I'll try to get in so you can see his face sculpt, but it's super tiny. He's got kind of a white visor with a little gold mouth plate. Obviously the head can swivel. Whoop, and apparently the arms can just pop right off. It's just a ball joint. All it did was pop the ball joint, pop it right back on. So I usually, like, this is pretty much standard articulation. You can kind of put these out to the side a little bit. That's about as much as you can do. But I think he looks great. Transformation, obviously, into the head. There is Overlord's face. Now, obviously, it's not like a complete head because he's going to have a big helmet that it sits into, so it's literally just the face. So putting him off to the side, we'll take a look at Mega. I think Mega's detail is a little bit better just because like her head works a little bit better. She has kind of a big faceplate that goes across her whole mouth. And again, she's mostly the kind of tealish seafoam green color. But they did a great job with Mega. I like this a lot. And I appreciate that they included both of them because they were both separate characters in Master Force. And then to transform into a head, you can see, and I'll compare these real quick. The Mega's head is a little bit more slender, a little bit more effeminate. Otherwise, pretty similar. Now in Master Force, he did not have two different heads because they were Power Masters, not Headmasters, so this is a little bit of a tweak that's done specifically for this toy and is not really, canon with the fiction. But I think it's neat. I'm just glad that they gave us two individual figures. You can go ahead and place them into their respective vehicles. So on the tank, there's this little canopy right here. You take Giga and slide him inside. And if you're familiar with the Black Shadow, I think, that was kind of the pre-tool they did for this mold. I can get that all the way in. Hold on a sec. There we go. So you can put him in there and close it up. What I was saying is the Black Shadow mold was the pre-tool they did for this. So it is the same mold transformation, very similar. But the mold was always meant to be Overlord. So you can open up this canopy. This one's a little bit harder for me to get. I always have trouble with it. There we go. And then you can take Mega and drop her inside and close that up. And then they're both riding around in their respective vehicles. In the show, sometimes Mega would come and pick him up and fly away. And you can simulate this with these two panels here. And this is going to show you're not going to be able to put the two, or really any Headmasters in here, because they've molded the two Power Masters in here. And I personally am a fan of this. That looks great. And we'll see it more in robot mode. But when this was Giga and this was Mega when they transformed into Power Masters and then they plugged into the chest. So they've just molded that in there to be show accurate, instead of leaving it as an empty cavity to put various Titan Masters, Power Masters, or Prime Masters rather. But you have to open the two panels and you'll see that there's these tabs on the side. There and there. And then he's got these little slots right here, and there's a similar one on the other side. So this just comes over and they insert into there. Now it's not perfect. It's really far from perfect, honestly, but it can be done and it'll lift it up. But I mean, it's rickety. It's not like a really tight combination. It's just kind of grabs it, almost like a crane game. Just whoop, I win this one, and then flies off. So, but it is neat. You can simulate that. So I appreciate that they did include that little feature, because that did happen on the show more than once. She would pick him up and then they would fly to some destination and then transform. So I guess first I'll put this off to the side and we can take a look at the little tank. It's a pretty short, squat little tank, but I kind of love it. Like I said, the color scheme is perfect. This kind of seafoam, tealish, bluish green color, and then the navy blue with the purple. You have the translucent orange canopy. So it's very simplistic tank, but it works. Unfortunately, there's no turret movement or cannon movement. But I still think it's a really cool little tank. Bringing in the jet, Mega's jet. Beautiful. Really, really nice. I love the design of this. It reminds me, there's like a G.I. Joe Cobra jet. I think it was called the Night Raven. And this reminds me of that. I believe it's supposed to be the same kind of jet. So very cool. Underneath, you can kind of see the robot mode a little bit, but it's not terrible. But it is there. But either way, I like these two vehicles very much. I love the fact that they can combine, even though to me that's just kind of a superfluous extra feature, but I still love the fact that it can do that. So let's go ahead and get into the transformation for these two. Alright, I've gone ahead and removed the two Headmasters. Now, technically, the box boasts two different configurations. I don't really think there's two configurations, in my opinion, but I'll show you the Giga one first. To me, the Giga one is the Overlord transformation, but I'll show you the Mega one as well. In any case, you're going to start here with the tank. You're going to remove the cannon, and this just becomes a gun in robot mode, so you can just put that off to the side. Going to take this and you're going to lightly unpeg these kind of purple, what will be feet sections from this middle section here. So you kind of have to like lightly unpeg that and then come to the turret and unpeg that as well. And then once you do that, you can kind of lift this whole section and bring them back. And you're going to see that you reveal pretty much the entirety of the legs. So just give them a little bit of space out to the side. The whole turret section is going to rotate into the leg, and then it will peg into place. You're going to come to what will become the feet, and you're going to lift this up and then it will kind of, it has a little swivel in here, so that you can lift it up and sit it so that it's kind of flush, and then you're going to just put the heel back. Now for some reason my one heel doesn't want to, it has like a little tab that kind of prevents it from staying all the way back. I don't really know why. It's only a problem with this one side. Not really sure why it does it, but over time I think it should fix itself out, but I don't know. I might just go in and file the little tab down because it just kind of prevents it from sitting normally. It's really quite strange. I'm wondering, you can kind of see it in there. It's really tiny. But see that tiny little tab right there? I think it's just like maybe an extra piece of plastic or just kind of a little, not a defect, but something I could easily file off. But in any case, you're going to want to do this to the other side as well. Peg that in, lift this up like that, and then just lift that up. And you can see on the other side it's perfectly fine. So these are the pants. The tank basically forms the entire left or bottom, the bottom section of the robot. And it does have nice ankle articulation there. You can see like this whole thing will flip pretty much 90 degrees for ankle articulation. So I appreciate that a lot. It looks good. So that is the legs. Put them off to the side. You're going to come here. You're going to basically turn it up like this. And as you can see, this is most of the torso. You're going to unpeg this. You kind of pull it out. And you'll hear it unpeg. And there's a tiny peg. You can see it there in the armpit that pegs into the arm just for the vehicle mode. So you're just kind of lightly unpegging that. And then you can come here and you can see the whole fist just kind of pops out very simply. You can push these little black wings down on the side. Flip out the other fist. At this point, you're going to take this whole section and just fold it back. And it'll just rest against the body. Come here. At about here and here, you're going to just pull, and that whole part you'll see will just, there's two tabs, and there were two tab slots that just connected like that. So you just take this, put this off to the side for a moment, spin the head around 180 degrees. That's going to be the big helmet. You can see the big spot right here, which is going to, this is going to peg right into it. So there you go. And now I will angle the camera up. And I might have to raise the camera in a minute. At this point, you can just pull the arms. They extend. And then you have your elbow joints. Bring in this. And right up here, there's going to be this little tab that just, or actually it's like a little peg that pops out. And then there's a big peg hole right here on the side of the arm. So that goes there. You can go ahead and put that gun in the other hand if you like. So you're pretty much done. At this point, you're going to open up these two tabs, or these two flaps, to reveal the two Power Masters, lift up the helmet, and I'm going to take the Giga head, transform him, and pop him in. And then close up the helmet. And then you just kind of have to, now for some reason I don't think he's pushed in all the way. Let me make sure. There we go. Okay, now we can close this. There we go. Now it's working. So you can see, if you push it all the way down, it kind of hides the eyes a little bit. So if you like to just raise it up a smidge, just so that the eyes aren't as hidden. And there you go. There is Overlord. And I think he looks perfect. Really, really well done. Like I said, they did use this mold previously for Black Shadow. I think it was Black Shadow or Sky Shadow. I can't remember his name. And that was fine. I liked that figure a lot. But this mold was always meant to be Overlord. Like that's, the transformation and everything is in keeping with how he transformed in the two vehicles on the show. So this mold was meant to be Overlord, and I love having it as Overlord now. It looks really fantastic. Doesn't really have a ton of kibble or anything on the back, so I think they did a pretty good job with that. Yeah, he looks great. Posability, side to side, swivel there. Now this flap does kind of get in the way, but if you bring it in, you can move the arm. You can get the flap in and out like this. You can move it back and forth. You have a bicep swivel there. You have 90 degrees in the elbow. Nothing in the wrist because of how it transforms, but I don't think you need it. Pretty typical hip joint out to the front, out to the side, thigh swivel, pretty much 90 degrees in the knee, not quite, but again, I think enough. And then you have nice ankle articulation, so he can get some pretty cool poses. Yeah, I love this guy. I really am so happy to finally have this, and to have the Takara version, which I think they just nailed it. Because they molded in those 2 Power Masters, and that's absolutely fantastic in my opinion. Now, if you want the Mega configuration, they literally just have you close these up, take this off, come back around, put that back on his back, obviously open this up, take out the Giga head, which is honestly easier said than done. Drop in the Mega head, and I feel like I'm not connecting this correctly, and then close that up. So that's the Mega configuration. Apparently it's fine. You know, okay. I guess they figured we're giving you a second Headmaster, let's pretend to do something with it. It's not a different... I mean, to me, all they did was close this up and put this on the back. And to me, it's kind of funny that this is the Mega configuration when this is part of Mega's vehicle that they've decided to now hide on the back. I don't know. But like I said, I get it. They wanted to do something different. To me, I just like having the 2 different Headmasters for their individual tiny robot modes. But when it comes to... it's really hard to get that head in and out of there. But when it comes to, you know, the actual robot mode, I'm going to make it look like Overlord from Master Force. Eesh, try to get that off of there again. So there we go. I'm not going to put the head back in because we're going to move on to the base mode, and I got to take the head out of there to do that, so I'm just going to leave it off for the second. But yeah, this is great. Love it. Beautiful paint. Wonderful robot mode. Very G1 accurate to Master Force. It hits all the things I needed it to hit. It's really great. So let's go ahead and check out that base mode. Alright, so basically you're going to start, you can go ahead and close these panels. Turn the head around 180 degrees, and then you're going to fold this part back up. And just be careful because you have to make sure everything fits correctly. It's a little tight there with the head, but once it gets in there, it's in there. You can fold the fists up and then collapse these back. And then you can peg these back in against. So pretty much almost transform it completely back to vehicle mode. You're just not going to attach this part back to the top. At this point, you're going to bend the whole thing forward. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, you know why? Because I think I'm doing it the wrong way. It's probably going to make a difference. Okay, hold on, start over. You're going to come to these panels. You're going to bring these down. I really don't need to break this, I just got it. Okay, once you do that, then you're going to bend this like this so that you can bring it down like this. You're going to take the legs and kind of just straighten them out. Now, they have these little black things in here that you can flip out, and that's if you want to connect them to other bases that have come out, like Triptychon or Soundwave or Fort Max. And it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get these out of here. There we go. So you can, I'll just do one just to show you how it works. I don't personally care about them, but you're going to spin this around at that thigh swivel and then kind of bring them out to the side like that. So at this point, you can see most of the base has taken shape. It wants you to bring the turrets back out. And really, that's up to you. I kind of like the look of like maybe just this one out because this has the little spot for the Headmaster to sit in. But the directions have you take out both. So I think in the Sky Shadow directions for the Hasbro release, they had you just take out one. Again, it's personal preference. You can do whatever you like. You're going to drop this gun into this crotch section. There we go. And then you're going to come around to this part and attach this on here. Now, that's 180 from how it would attach in the vehicle mode. And then you're going to drop this part down. And this can be a little difficult to get it to do, but there you go. And there you go. That is the base mode. It does have wheels, as you can see, so it does roll around fairly decently. It's okay. I mean, it's the same base mode from the Sky Shadow use of the mold, and it was okay then, it's okay now. It's a far cry from the original Overlord's base mode, but they did what they could with the toy that they made. I understand that, how that works. It's fine. I mean, you can put one of your Headmasters in here to hang out. You can have one of your Headmasters stand up here. There is a little peg, so you can do that. If I can actually get the peg to go in there, we go. There's plenty of pegs. I mean, there's pegs here, pegs over here, pegs over here. So you can peg in a bunch of Headmasters, Power Masters. I keep saying Power Masters, Prime Masters, Titan Masters, whatever you like to call them. So yeah, base mode, okay in my opinion. And before I conclude the review, I have to show off the instruction booklet. Again, it shows the Giga version and the Mega version just with the artwork there, but very beautiful artwork, really nice. Taking a look at the back, shows the toy in all the different modes, has the tech specs and everything, which is pretty cool. Open it up and you get to check out the comic, which I love these comics. I think they're really, really fun. Apparently this is number 60, so it shows the Headmaster Juniors. You got Clouder, you got Giga and Mega. Whoa, Mega. So they're apparently at some restaurant. And then they start transforming, as you can see. Here's Giga and Mega in their Headmaster forms, or Power Masters, blah, blah. One of these days I'll say it right. Then they all shout Master Force to transform. And then this thing just keeps going. And apparently in the comic they have two different versions of Overlord here, because obviously the Giga and the Mega version exist at the same time. And so they're just like both beating up Jinrai over here. And then when you come around to the back, as it continues on, it's 6 pages, they have this really cool version where it's two Overlords combined together right here. So that's kind of neat. I don't think that's actually possible with the toys, but it looks really cool. If anyone has the Hasbro version and the Takara version, let me know if you can actually do that. But then you have Jinrai combined with God Bomber to fight him, and then he gets the Fire Guts. Turns all orange and red, and then they attack and they win the day, I believe. So, very cool. Love these comics. And then if you open it up, inside is all the instructions for transformation and everything. So, very cool. Always love these instruction booklets / comics from the Takara releases. So, wanted to share that with you guys. As you can probably tell, I absolutely love this release. Takara did a beautiful version. Really making it faithful to the original Master Force version of this toy. Color scheme is fantastic. I love the fact that the two Power Masters are molded into the chest. I love the fact that they included 2 Headmasters with it. There's not really much to complain about. If I had to nitpick something, I mean, the inclusion of the Mega form is kind of ridiculous to me, but it doesn't hurt the toy in any way. It's just something they tried to add a little bit of extra value because they were giving you 2 Headmasters. And I do appreciate getting both a Giga and a Mega for the individual robot modes. I don't care so much about the individual face modes, but they had to do something with it because it's 2 Headmasters. So I get it. To me, it doesn't add any value to the toy to having that extra mode, quote unquote, but having the extra Headmaster does. So I completely understand that they wanted to pretend like that extra Headmaster, you know, makes it a different figure. So like, I get it. Again, it's not a complaint. To me, it just is kind of laughable, but I love having both Headmasters for the individual robot modes because that's just absolutely fantastic. The base mode, again, not perfect, but it's the same base mode from the previous version of this with Sky Shadow or Black Shadow, whatever he was called. It was okay then, it's okay now. Not great, not terrible, just kind of meh. I love the individual vehicle modes. I love this robot mode. It's just great. If you really love Master Force like me, if you're a big Master Force fan, I would say get the Takara version because, you know, it's got everything that you would want as a Master Force fan. The molded in Power Masters in the chest, the individual Power Master little robots, the color scheme's perfect. It's wonderful. If you just like Overlord from the comics or the Titans Return cartoon and you just want a version of the character and you don't want to pay a lot, I can understand going with the American version, if you can find it, that is. He kind of came out towards the end of Titans Returns, so it was a little difficult to find those kind of end of the wave figures. But if you just want a representation of the character because you know him from the American fiction, then by all means, the American version is perfectly good. But if you're a huge Master Force fan like me and you really want the authentic Japanese Overlord, this is the one to pick up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and share this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at LG-60 Overlord from Transformers Legends. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.